Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. This video is an often requested video, which is my yearly update of my doll room tour. So I'm going to bring you guys in, well we're already in here in my doll room, and I'm going to give you a tour of everything in the room. You're going to notice, if you've been a fan for a long time, you've been following along for a long time, you will notice some big changes that have happened in the room over the last year or so, and that's kind of why I like to do the new tours every year, is to show you guys what I've changed, how I've organized things, and also to give you like an overall picture of where all the new dolls that I get go. So let's get started right here. First of all, this is the first big change. This cabinet used to house my smart dolls, and I changed things up, and now it houses an American Girl display. It's got Courtney's bed, so I like having Courtney's bed here, and then it displays 6 American Girl dolls because I've got, well, she's not technically American Girl, but she's same size. I've got 3 on top here. This is my Brains and Beauty Kari. I've got Courtney, McKenna from the World by Us line, and then on the bottom shelf, I've got Yvette from World by Us. I've got Giorgio, my AG boy, and I've got Maritza from the World by Us. So I've got them all displayed here. And underneath, this is an original AG, I guess, trunk, or not a trunk, but it's really like it's a huge thing that holds a lot of stuff. So I thought it would be cool to kind of put them there and display them there under this artwork. Down here beside Courtney's bed, I have her Pac-Man machine, and I also have an AG locker. This is really not like a display quality kind of situation, but I've got to put them somewhere, and space is very limited, as you're going to see. Now in my built-ins here, I've got my Ana Salvador dolls. I've got 3 of those, 1, 2, 3. Those are all by Ana Salvador. This is a Forever Virginia doll. Up here, I've got my Valentina Petrick doll. She was in my Blythe display, but my Blythe display got pretty crowded, so I moved her up here. And my Creatures doll, Novgorod. So, speaking of Blythe displays, here are my 2 Blythe displays. They are on top of an IKEA Kallax. This is a 1-level IKEA Kallax with drawers. Those drawers, of course, are full of doll things. But here is one of my Blythe displays. Shira made this diorama for me. I've got my awesome Bowie in here. Check him out. I've got my 20 Years of Love Blythe. I've got some little Matilda Atelier Blythes in here. This is my original KB girl. I call her KB because she's an original Kenner Blythe. My Cooey Dolls Blythe. These are a couple of Blythes I got from, or these are 3 Blythes I got from the collector who sent me her Blythes. A midi Blythe, a custom midi, some petites, and a Cherry Beach. I think it's Cherry Beach Sunset. I feel like I always get that name wrong. So they're all in this display. Yes, they're crowded, but the cool thing about this is it's like an organized chaos. I can get in here and I can pull them out when I want to do what I want with them. So here's my other Blythe display, and in it I've got a lot more customs. This is from Milicasia. This is another little Matilda Atelier. I've got my Love Hug Blythes in here, my Poupées Cherie Blythe. This is another beautiful custom Blythe from Ophelia Queen. This is my Disco Boogie Blythe, my Blythe from Dai Kawaii, and my very first custom girl from Anna Sagina, and I love her so much. Plus some cool accessories, bed. The bed and the clothing rack came from Dream Come True Beds, so that's where they're from. And of course the diorama, Shira made that for me. So now let's have a look at these built-in shelves, and I'll show you guys what's in them. So here are my Atelier Mamoni big girls. I still have an incoming Mamoni in the Merlot color. I cannot wait for her to show up, because when she's here, she's going to fit perfectly in this shelf with these girls. Now, on the shelf above that, I have some of my premium fashion dolls. I've got my Poupées Sisters full set doll. Then I've got my Poupées Sisters Cuckoo, which is painted by the sisters, but she's not a full set. She's only got the painting from the sisters. My Tender Creation doll. I love her very much. I've had like some second thoughts about her, but in the end, like, I really love this doll. I'd like to get one of her younger age dolls. I just haven't done it yet because it's expensive and wiring the money and all that. My House of Babes doll, which I love very much. And up above them, I've got some of my Pongrats dolls. I've got 3 sizes of Pongrats dolls up there, so you can see all of those. They're so precious to me. And the next shelf over up top, I have got My Doll Essence doll, Lara's face is in Brazil right now with the artist, because the artist is redoing her face for me because it got damaged. So I'm looking very forward to her face coming back and me showing you guys her refreshed face. Then down from there, I've got my beloved Pasha Pasha dolls. Both of these are Simply Beautiful dolls. This is the full set Sanity. Oh gosh, her name is escaping me right now. Giddy Heights. Giddy Heights. This is Giddy Heights. Then down from there, I've got Loki and my absolute favorite Blue Caterpillar. This doll is just so amazing, you guys. So Loki and Blue Caterpillar like to have a toque together. So that's why they're displayed there together in that shelf. And there's room for one more in the middle, I feel like. So, you know what might happen. All right, next over here, I've got my Lavender Poupées, big wooden dolls. I wanted them in a place, they were on a shelf, but I wanted to put them, I mean, they're on a shelf now, but they were in a different shelf. But I wanted to bring them down where I could pull them out more often because they were up a little bit high. So I had to bring them. High things are difficult for me to get to, so I have to use like a chair to get them down. So I wanted to put them in a place where I could grab them more easily. Then I've got my anime girls. I've got 2 Volks dolls. This is my Mokiashi body. Is it Moki or Mochi? I always get it wrong. Anyway, that's her. Then I got my Isla dolls, Kiwi, and then I've got my Lilaroo doll. So those are those dolls. I would like to get one of the tan skin dolls coming up in, I think April is when Volks releases those. So I'm going to try to work with a proxy again. I tried to work with a proxy last year and she said she would work with me, and then she like forgot I had messaged her, and then she messaged me like 3 or 4 months later and was like, oh sorry, I forgot, I didn't realize you were ready. Like she said, I checked my notes again and realized you were actually ready, and I'm sorry. And I was like, well, I've already bought one, I couldn't wait any longer, so I decided to wait until this year, and I will try to get one of those. Up on the top shelf, I've got my Lily Cat Amy, and then I've got 3 of my Nina 2 dolls from Atelier Momoni. Those are some of her older dolls, but I love them. I like having them as a part of my collection. So then from there, in the other built-ins, I've got my Nikki Britt, like USD size dolls. This is my Mini Tootie. This is my Titus. My Adeline, I love this doll so much. And then I've got Mini Phoebe and Mini Wendy from her. Again, love them very much. And then 2 Birding Creedy dolls that I got at Modern Doll Collectors Convention last year. I didn't start collecting Birding's dolls until just about the time that she retired, maybe like 2 years after I started collecting BJDs, and so the only ones I were able to get were her smaller dolls. So it was really cool that I was able to get these at Modern Doll Collectors Convention this year, and this one I actually won in the raffle, y'all. We do these helper room tickets at Modern Doll Collectors Convention, and you can put your tickets in like whatever bags of the things you want. And I won her, like, and I remember drooling over her when she came out. And when she came out, she was, I think she was $700. Like, she was a special edition. My friend Diana had made the outfits for Berdine. And so it was very exciting for me to have won this doll, like, super exciting. Okay, down here, these are the 2 dolls that one of my best friend's mom, she gave me these dolls. I cleaned them up. They're here for now because with the older Chrissies, I want to be sure that I got all the gunk out of their eyes before I move them into the actual Chrissy shelf, because I don't want them to like spread anything to the other Chrissies, so I like to leave them out. I'm really probably going to leave them down here for about 6 months before I put them up on the shelf with the other Chrissies, and that's just to ensure that I got everything. Diana Ross, Miss Ross is here, and she is also the same reason, like I've left her out. Now I've had her probably 6 months now, but I like having her out here because I just love looking at her. Like, and if I put her up, I'm not going to see her as well. And then down here, I've got my Muñecas Paco Raquel that I got in Costa Rica. She's made in Costa Rica from an old American mold. So these were molds purchased in the late 50s or early 60s by the founder of the Muñecas Paco company. And so these are American dolls, like American molds, but totally made in Costa Rica, which is very cool. Like a cool vintage story about this doll. And then one of my newer dolls, my Diana Effner painted Maru and Friends Tanya. So really happy to have this doll in my collection. Now, Let's move on and look at all the shelves on this side of the room. Now we're on to the real organized chaos, which these are all IKEA Billy bookshelves. People ask me pretty frequently, what shelves do you use? Everything in here is IKEA. These are IKEA Billies, and I use the IKEA Calyx a lot. They work really well. I like them. They're inexpensive and they're quick to put together, and I know kind of how they're going to fit into my room now because I have so many of them. But on the very top of all the shelves, you can see across the whole room, I have some Disney Animators dolls, a lot of my plush dolls, a lot of different dolls are up here on top, but they're primarily Disney dolls. The Animators collection dolls, I have gotten most of those. They're either been gifts or I pick them up at yard sales, flea markets, thrift stores all the time because I absolutely adore the Animators collection dolls. I can't resist one when I see it. So you'll see a lot of those are up there. And then a lot of stuff from my childhood is up there. Like a lot of different plushes and things from my childhood I have put up there on that top shelf. But now if we're looking inside the actual case, on the top shelf here, I have got my Shirley Temple dolls. I've got several Shirley Temple dolls up here, which you can't see them all because, again, organized chaos. There's like dolls in front of dolls in front of dolls, but I've got my Kewpie dolls. I love Kewpie dolls. I have loved Kewpie since I was a young kid, and so Kewpie dolls were a lot of things I used to collect. Like some of these Kewpies, like this one, for example, I used to watch QVC a lot when I was a kid because they had a lot of doll collecting shows, and I got several Kewpies from QVC. So I've got a lot of my Kewpie dolls. This one is from QVC. This one is from QVC. So I've got all these Kewpie dolls that came from QVC, and I like begged my mom to buy them, and that's kind of how that went because I didn't have a credit card at that age. I've also got several of my Small World dolls here. These are It's a Small World dolls. I'm very much into Small World dolls. I really like them. I've been collecting them and trying to learn about all the different types that have been manufactured over the years, so stay tuned for a video on that. I've got Sasha, Pinky Cooper, I've got Corinne, some Chrissy dolls up there. This is a Estrella Mexican Chrissy doll, and she's not actually Chrissy. They actually changed the face on that one. They didn't just, but she's a grow hair doll kind of made on that same thing. Down below this shelf, these are my Birding Creedy girls that I love. This was the first BJD like I ever got, and I got all the dolls in that line. This is the Love Is line by Birding. I also got another Small World doll. This is a Tonner Small World doll in here. And then behind that are my Angle Pup Disney dolls. So I used to go to Disney. I went to Disney World twice when I was a kid, and when I was a kid, these dolls were very expensive. I was not able to buy them, and the first time I went as an adult with money, I was like, I'm gonna go to the Germany Pavilion at Epcot and I'm gonna get me one of these dolls, and they didn't have them there anymore. So I have been slowly trying to get them all on the secondary market, and I've gotten pretty much all of them. Next shelf down, I've got another one of those, the Ariel one, which was the hardest one for me to find, but now she's here. So happy I got her. Paula Reina doll. I've got some dolls from Spain. I've got a gorgeous doll. Let's see, let's take her out. She's just kind of temporarily standing there till I can get up on a chair and get her put up high. So I'm going to set her to the side. My Witch Tell doll, and some Juanita Perez, Cousins Prima Perez, Madame Alexander doll. This is my gorgeous doll. People ask me sometimes, do I have a gorgeous doll? I actually do have one. There she is. She's wedged in there. There's another Small World doll kind of just hanging out down below. And then on the very bottom shelf, I've got some other interesting things. I've got Magic Attic doll. I've got another Angle Pup Disney doll, which is, I don't know much about them. I just found one online one day, and so I bought her. So I actually need to email the company and ask them about that. I've got a Kids and Cat doll, some Kathy DeBella dolls, some Singing Disney dolls, Happy Kids, GOTS dolls, and 2 BFC Ink dolls. This is a wonderful Diana Effner boy that a very nice collector who watched my channel sent me, so I'm very appreciative of that. This is my doll from Cuba. I have a Cuban doll. My brother-in-law brought that for me from Cuba. This was my dad's Pelham puppet when he was a kid. And then I have a Cabbage Patch that I picked up at Babyland General when I was in Georgia. So that was fun. I'd like to eventually get one of the Babyland, like one of the soft sculpture, like one-of-a-kind Cabbage Patch dolls. They're just so expensive. Like, I mean, they're like, I want to say they're $300 or $400. And that's hard for me to want to spend that for a Cabbage Patch, because I would rather spend that on like a BJD. But one of these days I'm going to actually like intentionally put aside the funds, go there and buy one of those dolls. So now let's move on to the second shelf. So here we are on the second shelf. The top shelf is all of my Chrissy dolls. Not all of them. You've already seen some Chrissy dolls, but these are pretty much all Chrissy dolls. A couple of Skippers from my childhood. This is Teen Skipper. This is like a 90s Skipper. I found her at the flea market, but I just love Skipper's face from the 90s. So Chrissy dolls, international Chrissy dolls. There's Brazilian Chrissy there. Chrissy is her name. So I've got all those there. Down below, I've got my original American Girl dolls in the back from when I was a kid. So the only one back there that I didn't get when I was a kid is Elizabeth. And I got her at the flea market. She had a haircut. I replaced her wig. So she's the only one that's actually not from my childhood. And then I've got Welly Wishers, Glitter Girls, and Madame Alexander Kindness Club in front of those. I got these two Welly Wishers from my grandma. She gave them to me for Christmas one year. But the other Welly Wishers, I got them all at the flea market or yard sales or the thrift store. Like one or the other. Like I got them all very inexpensively. Like they're just, because they've sold them in so many places now. I think they have them at Kohl's. They've had them on Amazon. They had them at Toys R Us back when Toys R Us was around. So they're actually very easy to find secondhand for inexpensive. Down below that shelf, I've got my Nancy Famosa shelf. So I've got my Nancy Famosa dolls down there. I've also got my Cruislings here, which I picked up in Germany. Actually, I didn't pick those up in Germany. My husband brought them back for me from Germany. He picked them up. That was before they were available here in the States. So that was just really a cool experience to have those. And then I've got, like I said, all the Nancy Famosas. And then down below that, it looks like they fell over down here, but they did fall over. I didn't even notice that. That's the problem when you've got so many dolls. You just don't know what they're all up to. So Nancy Famosas on this shelf. There's one of my Rainbow Highs. This is a Kathy Cruz doll here. And another Kathy Cruz. My Ruby Red Maya. So Ruby Red Fashion Friends Maya doll. So that is that shelf. Let's move on now and check out the other two shelves. Third shelf on this back wall. The top shelf has a lot of BJDs. So in the far left, I've got my Amy by F&B Studios. I've got my beautiful doll by Cindy Cook. That is a 3D printed doll. It's amazing. I've got a Cora from Sasha Dolls. I've got Melba by La Compagnie de Radice. Dark Tanzia, Mini Feet Auntie with modified ears, Mini Feet Chloe. Down beside them, I've got my two Lavender Poupées small girls. And then in the front, and like I said, this is all kind of like organized chaos. I've just got dolls everywhere. In the front, I've got my little Kiki Pop that I got from Japan. Julio and Julieta Perez from the Juanita Perez Company. My Dirac doll. This is my custom Palarena from Michelle Ulrich. And then another Witch Tail doll beside her. This is an Adamaru Duran doll that I actually painted the face on this doll. This is a Skipper doll that was rerouted for me by GirlyBot on Instagram. Another Small World doll that you can see here. And then some of my, oh gosh, what are these called? I can't even remember. They're, oh my goodness, I'm having a moment. But these dolls are really easy to dress. Pops, Sweetie Pops, that's what they're called, Sweetie Pops. And the creator of these dolls is actually on Instagram too. Her name is Stephanie Iskander. You guys should definitely give her a follow because she has so much amazing, like from my childhood. She designed like the dolls from my childhood. She has so much cool stuff that she shares. So now let's move down to the next shelf. This is more BJDs. I've got most of my pigeon dolls here. There's one pigeon doll that's not here. So I've got my Trixie, the gem of my pigeon collection. Down below her, I've got my petite pigeon. Then I've got my chibi pigeon. This is my Miss Mary Magpie. I redressed her in a vintage Barbie fashion that my friend Leah sent me. I think she looks so cool in this vintage Barbie fashion. Like, I really love the way she looks. I've got my original pigeon that I bought back at Resin Rose in Portland several years ago. And then my Cocoa Pigeon that I got in a trade, which I love her so much. That was like the best trade I've ever made. I've got my Forever Virginia Briar on the Sweetheart body. I had a Briar in the larger size, but I just love this Sweetheart body so much. It's like, there's something really sweet about the original Briar, but I love this Sweetheart body size. I just love it. So I got her in that size. Then I've got all my Connie Lowe kids. I've got, oh gosh, let me see if I can remember their names. Hazel, Maylee, Stella, and Pearl. Yes, I remember them all. Oh my goodness, it's a miracle. So those are my Connie Lowe kids. I'm missing 2 of the Connie kids. I don't have an Alice and I don't have a Ruth anymore, because I had Ruth, but she was in the white resin, and I'd rather have her in like a more natural skin tone sort of color, so I traded her away for something else. But I've also got, this is another Pigeon original doll. This is his blue sculpt, doll blue. Then I've got all my Hush dolls. Like, look at them. Oh, aren't they beautiful? Aren't they amazing? This is a doll, this company is no longer, this artist is no longer making dolls, but she's a really sweet doll. That was her first doll. It was her only doll, but I thought she was a really sweet doll, so I have her here. Also got my Meadow Avery here. She is the tween size. Another little Connie Lowe doll, and then another Small World thing. You could play a drinking game with my doll room, and like every time you see something Small World, you could really take a shot, because I've got Small World stuff like interspersed throughout everything. Because I'm really, if you watch my video about like the 5 dolls I really want, I really want an actual Small World animatronic from the ride, from the attraction itself, and they come up for auction. Sometimes they sell for a lot of money, but if anybody knows anybody, if I'm ever able to get one, like even just the head, like I would be, gosh, that would be amazing. Like, anyway, okay, that's just a side note. All right, down below that, I've just got a bunch of 80 dolls. We'll just do a quick scan of those. There's a ton of them there. They're all piled in there, kind of organized chaos. And then on the shelf below that, I've got more 80s dolls, some Hot Looks dolls, My Beautiful doll, some Harry Potter stuff kind of stuck in between there. These are mostly dolls from my childhood, with the exception of this one, and this one, which I got, which I've gotten more recently. I've gotten some of the Hot Looks dolls recently, but they, you know, they're from the 80s, so that's where they're at. So now let's look at the last shelf. Now the last shelf's a little crammed in here, so you're gonna have to bear with us as we try to film this, but the top shelf has most of my Juanita Perez family up there, and then in front I've got some different dolls. So I've got this is, oh my goodness, I'm having another moment where I can't remember the name. Manouche. This is my Manouche doll. This is a Palorena doll I got at the Hospital de Muñecas in Portugal. This is an Aussie doll from Spain. These are made in Spain, and I picked them up while I was in Spain. I just think they're so gorgeous. Like, I think this is such a beautiful doll. And then this doll I got, I think, for like $2 on clearance. A friend of mine gave me this Liv doll. I love her so much. This is one of the Pretty Girls dolls, so that's up there. Then on the next shelf, I've got more of my American Girls. Now, these are the American Girls I got as an adult. With the exception, this is the Molly. I have a video on this Molly. I found this Molly at Goodwill, and I cleaned her up. So she's actually one of my newer American Girls, but she's like a new old American Girl. This is a Gott's doll I found at the flea market, but these are all dolls I've gotten as an adult for my American Girl collection. Also some Barbies here. One of my favorite Barbies, like one of my coolest Barbie finds, is this Barbie. This is Barbie Azul Mágica. She is a Venezuelan exclusive Barbie, and I found one time, and I'm gonna just mess everything up when I try to do this. I found at one time at the thrift store, some Venezuelan had given away all of their Barbies, and it was all the Rotoplas Barbies from Venezuela, and I'm just so fortunate to have her in my collection. She's a Venezuelan exclusive. I wish I was not making YouTube videos at the time that I found those dolls, because that would have made an incredible video, because the Rotoplas dolls are very cool. The makeup on them, some of the same versions that were from the US. The makeup on them was so much more vibrant. They are on my Flickr account that is defunct pretty much. But like, it's just cool. You can see, I'll just show you guys kind of like how the molding was done on the Rhodoplast dolls was really unusual. And so they immediately stand out because the molding was not, there was not as much attention to detail with the molding of these dolls. But I kept this one because I sold all the others, but I kept this one because she was a Venezuelan exclusive, like in this outfit. So I wanted to keep her because I thought she was like the most special. This outfit is also a Venezuelan exclusive, but I don't think this Ken is a Rhodoplast Ken. Like, he was in the lot with all of them, but he's not marked made in Venezuela or anything. But the outfit is a Rhodoplast outfit, so I kept him as well. But also with those, I've got my Cherry Mary Muffins, and interspersed in the Cherry Mary Muffins, you will find a Small World doll here and a Small World doll here. So they're there. They're kind of messy, you can see. On this shelf, I've got my Hearts for Hearts dolls all in the back. Those I picked up, you know, over the years. Actually, like probably just over the course of 2 years. They're not manufactured anymore, but if you find them at thrift stores, definitely pick them up. They're amazing. In front, the weird eyes, you may have seen I did a video where I fixed her eye. Those are Rosita Perez dolls. I've got another Liv doll that a friend gave me. I've got an Annette Hemstedt doll. That's BB there. That's the only Hemstedt doll I have. A couple other Cherry Mary Muffin dolls there. And a bunch of different dolls down on that bottom shelf. This shelf is kind of hard to get to, so I don't pull these dolls out very often. But they are there, so that's that bottom shelf. So now let's move on and take a look at the rest of the room. This is the newest shelf in my room. So there used to be a big glass shelf here, and then underneath it I had actually this piece of furniture. This piece of furniture has become a doll window seat. Not a doll window seat, a cat window seat. The cats come in and out of that window all day long. This is just way easier for me when I'm working. Our backyard is completely cat proof, like it's cat fenced in, so they can't get out of the backyard. So took the screen out of the window. There's a deck there. The cats come in and out all day. That keeps me from happening. If you have cats, you know, like you're just opening the door all day long for them. So I slid that over under the window for the cats and then put this shelf in, which gave me a lot more space. So let's talk about this shelf, starting with the very top. On top, I've got my Bob Mackie Barbies. I've got an Evangeline Ghastly, and I've got two of the Petite Blythes that were given to me. I'm having a hard time unboxing them because they just look so cute in the boxes. And normally I don't unbox. I mean, normally I don't leave dolls in the boxes, but I think they're going to stay in there on display like that. I've also got my Sand Rooter doll, the wooden doll in the corner up there. So those are the dolls that are up there. And then on this shelf, I put my little darlings here. So everything that was in that glass case is now on one shelf. So all my little darlings are on this shelf. My Judy Porter toddlers, my Atelier Mamoni Petusas, my Nina 1, and my Mellow Coton, they all fit onto this shelf, and so that really opened things up for me because now I have all this extra space. So on the bottom shelf, I've got two of my Disney dolls, two of my Disney I Love You dolls. I've got my Healthy Roots Zoe, and I've got my Journey Girls doll. I think her name's Siobhan, that's right. I've got my Gots Rebecca that I found. Like white body, like this was a huge find for me at the flea market. So excited to get her. Pongratz, an older Pongratz soft body doll, a Pongratz doll that was given to me by the previous collector. This is the one that Lynn Roche had bought from Elizabeth Pongratz at a toy fair. So this one's like really cool. And this is an older Pongratz doll here. Then I've got my Cindy Blogger, my Outsider dolls. A friend of mine, actually the same friend that sent me this dress, my friend Betsy, she sent me these Worry dolls. She's from Guatemala, and I think those are so cute. I'm trying to think of something really cute to do with them. Like I'm thinking to give each of my dolls, like give every doll like a little doll to hold. But anyway, my Just Fresh doll and another Pongratz doll. So that's all on that shelf. Then the shelf below that is my fantasy shelf now. So this is my fantasy shelf, and I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to do something with the back walls. Like, they're not going to stay white. I'm going to get some kind of paper to put behind it so it looks a little more fantasy. But this is just like fake grass from Amazon. It was not very expensive, so I cut that to go on the shelf. I've got my Hobbit door. I was going to do a whole diorama, but I really thought to myself, number one, can you make a whole diorama look good? And number two, where are you going to put a whole diorama? So I ended up just putting the door there with my Peregrine and Peony. And then these amazing, amazing Monster High repaint fairies that the wonderful collector sent my way. Like, gosh, aren't they beautiful? Like, I love them. And then, of course, my pixie from Goblin Tales, Alika. I gotta fix her wings to her back. But also down here, my cream soda dolls and my Toby Froud guy. I love him so much. He is like the coolest thing on earth. I'm so happy to have him. But anyway, the very next shelf is all Tonner dolls except for one Rainbow High, but I've got my Elowins in the back from the new collection, and then I've got, this is Elowin over the top that I got in Atlanta at the Gone with the Wind event. I've got Rufus and Prudence, I've got Patience, and then my Harry Potter Tonners there. So that is my shelf of Tonner love, plus one Rainbow High. I also have in my room a wonderful Love Sack beanbag chair that I thought I would be able to sit in for hours at a time and enjoy my room, but I'm never able to actually sit in those because the cats are always in it while I work, while I'm filming, whatever. That they love this chair. It is there. So anyway, I just wanted to show you guys that. But now this is another newer shelf. I did a video about putting this shelf up, but just on the very top, I've got some of my Duffy friends. And also, I don't know if I showed you guys the window yet. Over the window, I've got a lot of Disney plush. My Duffy Bear, Mickey and Minnie. That is one of my Pretenders from when I was a kid. I love them. My Gizmo from when I was a kid. And I love this Totoro Valance that I have. But anyway, moving on to the shelf. The top shelf, I've got a lot of my Korean dolls. There, I've got my Peaches and Cream Barbie. That is not original from when I was a kid, but I had one when I was a kid. That one's just in better shape. I found her at the flea market probably. My dad got me this cool crystal ball, so I like to have that there. I use it for like props and stuff. Down here, I've got my two Ondine and Siren from La Belle's du Jour. Sorry. Had to think about that for a minute. Life Day Chewy. And I've got my Volks. Oh my goodness, I can't remember her name. I'm having some name problems as I'm going through them all. Icon, she's a Volks icon, so there's her. And then of course my big Pasha original dolls. I love them so much. This is Hunger. I've got him here. And then next to him, this is the Dewey Girl. I had her repainted. And then, of course, Bubblegum next to that. And that amazing sand and salt color with the modified nerve sculpt. Oh, love that doll so much. A little Ariel that my friend Evelyn sent me. So all this fun stuff. This is the stuff, like this is the shelf that I can really see the most clearly when I work. And so I love looking at these beautiful dolls while I'm working because they're just fun. Down below that, I've got like a random assortment of stuff that you can't see very well, but a lot of stuff from my childhood. I've got one of my Outsiders dolls in there. I've got a Jar Jar Binks in there. Below that, I've got more fun stuff. Some Spectra dolls and some little Animators dolls that I like. My Harry Potter dolls, not dolls. What are they called? Oh my goodness. Y'all, I can't remember anything today. I've got those. My friends gifted me those. And then down below that, some Madame Alexander. The bottom shelf is really a big old mess, but that's some Madame Alexander stuff. Now, next to this shelf is where I work. So my work desk is here in my room. This is where I work. You can see my new doll Prairie is here on my work desk. I also have on my work desk a Small World doll. Like I've been telling you guys, I've been really looking at the Small World stuff lately. So that's where I work. My husband just bought me a laptop, like a personal laptop, and set me up a rig. So I have my work laptop here, my personal laptop here, and I can toggle between them and work here at the desk. So that's really nice because that's going to be really good for me for video editing and for doing stuff like that. Like I have like a really nice computer for doing that on now. Up above that, I've got a shelf of Magic Nursery stuff. I've got Babysitter's Club dolls. I've got my awesome trolls from Barrett Dodds from Oakshire Oddities. Like lots of cool stuff up on that shelf. I love that big troll so much. Like he's just so cool. And then from there, let's take a look at the last remaining wall in the room. This closet is no man's land. This is where stuff just goes when I don't have anywhere to put it. I've got my TV, my Nintendo in here because I play an old Nintendo, like the original Nintendo. On the side of this shelf is newer too. On the side of this shelf, I put some artwork. So this is nice artwork to have, like when this one needs a frame. I haven't gotten a frame yet, but I put my artwork here, and it's kind of cool because when I'm on a Teams call at work, like people can kind of see the artwork behind me, so I like that. Now let's talk about this new shelf and what's in it. All right, this is another new shelf that I was able to squeeze into the room. Up on top, I've got some more Tonner dolls. They're kind of crooked right now. I need to climb back up there and fix them. My Glamourize doll, my Tiana doll. I've got a Bitty Baby, Cabbage Patch. There's just a random assortment up there of cool stuff, basically. And then on the top shelf of this, I actually put my Smart Dolls here. So I put all my Smart Dolls on this top shelf. They're really easy to get to for me because they're so tall. I don't have to climb to get them. I can just pull them out of there, so that's really good. And I also put some American Girls down in front because they're short enough that the Smart Dolls still peek over. And I put my Tinies all here. So you may remember that there was a tiny house in this shelf. I took the tiny house out. I decided to get rid of it because the tiny house had really just become like extra storage for me. I was just kind of cramming stuff in there. And my Tinies have not had as much of my attention lately, so I thought if I get rid of this big, bulky IKEA, it's the IKEA Fleecesat or something like that. If I get rid of it, then I can have a lot more space, and it did open up a lot more space for me. So I've got all my Tinies in here. Now this shelf, I call the JP shelf. This is the shelf of all the beautiful dolls that the collector sent to me. I love these dolls so much. I'm still working through doing an individual video for each of them for you. Like it takes time to get through them all and appreciate them all, and I'm getting to know them all one at a time. They're just really cool, and I love how they all were able to fit here on the shelf, besides the Blythes. The Blythes are in the Blythe display, but I love how they all kind of fit on this shelf, and I think it's really cool because I'm able to say like this is that shelf. This is the JP shelf. I call it the JP shelf. Those are her initials. So this is the JP collection shelf. That's where they go. Down below that, I have two of my older Pongratz dolls. I've got my Maddie Bears L. I've got my Orange Tea Girl, and she and Maddie Bear, she and Elle, sorry, they share wigs. I only have one wig between them. I want to get another one, but I want the exact same wig, and I'm just waiting to place that order. And then I've got these amazing dolls from Valentina Ignateva in Russia. They're so gorgeous. I've got two of those. I've got my Pookie Fee Jude here. I've got a Princess Diana nesting doll, which has the royal family on the other ones. You guys may not know this about me, but I really love Princess Di, and I don't have any other Princess Diana dolls. I want to get one of the, I can't remember if it was Franklin Mint or Danbury Mint that did like a vinyl portrait doll that has different clothes. I want to get her eventually. I've kind of been like waiting to find one because they used to have them at my local flea market. There would be Princess Diana dolls, and I never bought one. Now I would buy one, but anyway. So that is the only Princess Diana doll that I have. One of my besties gave that to me because she knows that I really like dolls and I really like Diana. So anyway, then I've got my cute little baby Humpty, and then I've got my Evelina Evergreen, my Evergreen Art Dolls doll here. This is my Oscar doll from Mimo Marina, which of course Shy returned me on to. And then next to him, I've got my two amazing Noonie dolls. They are 3D printed in eco-friendly resin. They're so gorgeous. I love them. Then I've got my Remy from Rose Beebe Flockling. My Mayla doll. I love her. My Darling dolls. I love them so much. I had them in my Blythe display, but when the Blythe display filled up, I moved them to here because I thought they made more sense to go with the resin. My gal Ife. And she's going to be having some sisters coming soon, so I'm very excited about that. So now let's look look at the very bottom shelf, the very bottom shelf, we've got all of my Kim Arnold dolls. So I moved the big resin here because I had been worried about it falling out of the shelf. So my Kim Arnold girls are here. I got a Kay Wiggs doll. She needs to be restrung badly. I tried doing it and I don't know if I want to do that. So I may end up sending her somewhere or taking her somewhere. I've got my Nikki Britt big dolls in here. Another one of my Barrett Dodds guy. His head comes off because he can turn his head back and forth and put his head back on. My Neferkane Mystery. Another of my Judy Porter dolls. A Diana Effner doll that I found at Goodwill, but I couldn't pass her up. So that's what's all on this bottom shelf here. Lots of resin. Now I want to show you guys also a couple of things that I have here. So one thing that we did is we took my door and we switched the direction that it opens. Instead of opening to the inside, which it used to do, it now opens to the outside. And of course somebody wants to go outside right in the middle of this. Go ahead then. But I've got here, I've got my wigs, my Eat a Bag, my pen collection, and then I've got two shelves here. This shelf I was able to put a lot of my plushes on. The Land Before Time plushes were actually my brother's. I don't even know if he knows I have them. What he doesn't know won't hurt him. And then up above there, I've got my Rugrats and some of my other childhood stuff. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the tour. I know that I was talking fast through some of it, trying to get through it. It's a lot of stuff to go through, and I wanted to show you guys as much as I could and give you as much information as I could. Most of the dolls you've seen here somewhere on the channel if you're looking for information about them, but leave me a question below if you have any questions about anything you've seen. Again, all the shelves are by Billy, they're by IKEA, and they're called Billy's. Most of the dolls you've seen somewhere on my channel before. Just thank you guys so much for watching. This is how I cram a lot of dolls into a small space. People say sometimes, like, you must have a huge house. I don't have a huge house. I have a very small house, actually, for the area that we live in. It's around 1,400 square feet. I know that's probably bigger than like a flat in Europe maybe, but this is a small house for the United States, and this is where my dolls are. They're in this room. So this is how I maximize the space as much as I can. This is how I fit them all in, and it's, like I say, it's a little bit of organized chaos, but for the most part I know where everything is. I'm able to access it pretty quickly, so it works for me. So if you're trying to put your own doll room together, I hope that this gave you some inspiration or gave you some tips that you could use. And you know, thanks for coming along with me, and thanks for watching. So if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. I want to say a huge thank you to my patrons from Patreon: Lindsay S., Leah W., Doreen Z., Janice H., Mercedes W., Cindy K., Bear Sunflower, Diane B., Kelly L., Cindy L., Susie W., Krista R., Victory Run, Shorna R., Shira Star Hobby, Stephanie W., Jessica S., Ray M., and Asia C. Your support means so much to me and helps me continue bringing you great dolly content. For information on how you can become a supporter of this channel, please see the link in the video description. Thank you so much for watching.